अस्तु नमः सर्वेभ्यः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि संस्कृतं सदा। ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक् वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। नमः सर्वेभ्यः। गतवर्गे अन्वयक्रमः कथं भवति इति वयं दृष्टवन्तः। कया वक्तुं शक्यते अन्वयक्रमः इत्युक्ते किम्? We briefly saw what is Anvaya Rachana in the last class. Kimartham vayam Anvaya Kramam kurmah iti kaya vaktum shakyate? Who can explain? Just one or two lines. Vadatu Indu Bhagini.
Namaskara. Anvaya Kramaha इत्युक्ते वाक्यानां क्रमेण योजयामः। तत्र अवगमनार्थं सरलं भवति।
सम्यक् भगिनी वदतु एक उदाहरणं।
रामः विद्यालयं गच्छति इति वयं रिअरेञ्ज् कर्तुमपि वक्तुं शक्नुमः। विद्यालयं रामः गच्छति, गच्छति रामः विद्यालयं, किन्तु झटिति अवगमनार्थं कर्ता प्रथमं, अन्ते क्रियापदं, तन्मध्ये किमपि कर्मपदं वा विशेषणं किमपि योजयितुं शक्नुमः।
अस्तु अस्तु सम्यक्। भवती एकवाक्यं उक्तवती रामः विद्यालयं गच्छति इति। अत्र कथम् अन्वयक्रमः भवति?
तु प्रथमं क्रियापदं किम् इति ज्ञातव्यं। तत्र गच्छति इति क्रियापदम् अस्ति। तु क्रियापदस्य सम्बन्धः अन्वयः कः इति प्रष्टव्यं क्रियापदस्य कृते। तत्र कः गच्छति इति, कर्ता कः इति प्रष्टव्यं। तत्र रामः इति, कः गच्छति? रामः गच्छति। तदनन्तरं रामः कुत्र गच्छति?
कुत्र गच्छति?
विद्यालयं गच्छति।
अत्र रामः द्विचक्रिकया विद्यालयं गच्छति भवति चेत् प्रश्नः कः?
कया इति तृतीय कारकम्
कारकविभक्तिः।
कया इति प्रश्नं पृच्छनीयः। कया विद्यालयं गच्छति? तु द्विचक्रिकया विद्यालयं गच्छति इति उत्तरं
भवति। अस्तु, बहु सम्यक्, धन्यवादः। बहु सम्यक्। उमा भगिनी, सप्तककाराः के इति वदति वा?
नमस्ते भगिनी।
नमस्कारः।
सप्तककाराः किं, कुत्र, कति, कदा, कुतः, कथं, किमर्थं। So these are the saptakakaras.
सप्तककारः विवरणं ददातु।
Yes, these are the questions where we ask. Kim is kim ityukte what, kutra where, kati is how many, kada is when, kutah from where, katham is how, kimartham is for what.
अस्तु, सम्यक् भगिनी। अत्र किम् इति प्रश्नपदम् एव भिन्नरूपेण भवति खलु? कथं भवति?
कः कौ के पुल्लिङ्ग अस्ति, का के काः स्त्रीलिङ्गम् अस्ति, किं के कानि नपुंसक लिङ्गम् अस्ति प्रश्ननिर्माणं कर्तुं शक्यते ये using all this you ask questions.
अस्तु भवती उक्तवती कः कौके काके काः किं के कानि इति प्रथमा विभक्तिः एव भवति वा?
न भगिनि सर्वे विभक्ति अस्ति
विभक्तयः अपि भवन्ति अत्र भवन्ति सम्यक् सम्यक् धन्यवादः भगिनि
धन्यवादः
सप्त ककाराः ककारान् प्रयुज्य वयं प्रश्ननिर्माणं करिष्यामः. We will do the questioning formation of the question using the sapta kakaraha and then anantaram uttaram bhavati. Uttaram eke padasya prashna nirmanam sarvada bhavati. Atra prashnaha kada na bhavati chet, if there is a avyaya padam, generally there is no question. Cha iti padam asti, api iti padam asti chet, sarvada atra avyaya padanam prashnaha na bhavati. Generally, we don't have questions that are formed specifically for the avyaya padam. Ramaha, Lakshmanaha, cha vanam gacchataha iti padam asti chet, kshamyetam, vakyam asti chet, cha iti avyaya padam asti. Atra avyaya padanam prashnaha na adhikadikam na bhavati. Most of the times it doesn't come, but sometimes if it qualifies something, if it describes something, sometimes very rarely you have prashna nirmanam for avyaya padam also, which is very very rare. Astu adya vayam anvaya rachanam katham bhavati iti pashyamaha. Prathama pate विद्यमानः श्लोकः अथवा सुभाषितं विद्यमानं सुभाषितम् अस्ति. कया पठितुं शक्यते? Can somebody read? I will Rajeshwari Bhagini पठतु.
नमस्ते भगिनी.
नमस्कारः. पठतु भगिनी.
परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम्.
सम्यक् भगिनी, बहु सम्यक्, धन्यवादः. परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम्. एतत् अस्ति बहु प्रसिद्धं सुभाषितम्. इम्पोर्टेन्स् आफ् परोपकारम्. अग्रे वयं सरामः अन्वयरचनां कथं भवति इति. अन्वयरचनायाः मध्ये sopanani, what are the steps that we follow in anvaya rachana? Parichayam madhye vayam patitavantah. We have seen some of this in the second level, which is parichaya that we did. Agre saramah chet sandhihi nutanam asti. From the textbook point of view, so I want to clarify this at the beginning. From the textbook point of view and also from the exam point of view, padavibhagah sandhihi samanya artah anantaram anvayam pratipadartah angila bhashayam tatparyam api angila bhashayam lekhitum vaktum shakyate. But in this class, we are going to do 2 or 3 more additional steps for better understanding, and also we will try it in Sanskrit. Asmakam varge vayam Samskrita bhashayam tatparyam katham bhavati, patipadartham katham bhavati iti nischayena prayatnam karishyamah. So we will try, but from exam point of view, padavibhagah sandhihi samanyartah अन्वयं कथं भवति प्रतिपदार्थः आंगिल भाषायाम् अनन्तरं तात्पर्यं these are enough. पर्याप्तमेव. किन्तु अस्माकं वर्गे अग्रे वाक्यविश्लेषणम् इति कथं भवति, तात्पर्यम् अपि प्रतिपदार्थः अपि संस्कृतभाषायां लेखितुम् अस्माभिः प्रयत्नः कर्तव्यः. समानं तात्पर्यम्. अग्रे व्याकरणांशाः अपि. What is the grammar? Every padam that is given there, अत्र पदस्य व्याकरण अंशं किम् इति अस्माभिः द्रष्टव्यम्. अस्तु. परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः, परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः, परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः, परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम्. प्रथम सोपानम, the first step there, पदविभागः. परिचया मध्ये अपि संक्षेप्य रामायण मध्ये वयं दृष्टवन्तः. The first thing you do is if there is a shloka that is given, प्रथमं पदविभागं कुर्यात् इति. we do the पदविभागम्. अस्माभिः कर्तव्यः पदविभागः. कया प्रयत्नं कर्तुं शक्यते? बहु सुलभम् अस्ति. This is a very easy subhashitam. It is pretty straightforward. अनुषा भगिनी भवती करोतु.
नमस्ते.
नमस्कारः.
परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः, परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः, परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः, परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम्.
शरीरम् बहु स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड अस्ति. अस्ति इति अध्याहारः. सम्यक्. परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः, परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः, पुनः परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः, परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम्. अस्तु, सम्यक् भगिनि. अग्रे अग्रे प्रथमं सोपानं पदविभागः. अग्रे पार्वती भगिनी. नमस्कारः. अत्र सन्धिः वक्तुं शक्यते.
परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षाः.
अत्र सन्धिः अस्ति वा?
सन्धिः नास्ति. परोपकाराय फलन्ति अपि नास्ति. वृक्षाः बहुवचनं तत्र अपि नास्ति. परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः तत्र अपि नास्ति. परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः तत्र अपि नास्ति. परोपकार अर्थं सवर्ण दीर्घ संधि is there. परोपकार अर्थं
किन्तु that is the samasta padam, right?
Samasta padam, so that
it is
not
okay.
do sandhi there.
Yeah, sandhi happens there, but in this subhashitam it is given, so you can write as para plus upakaraya.
Upakaraya. Yeah.
So that is actually
that
a
is
sandhi. Astu, para plus upakaraya, para plus upakara plus artham. So that is paropakarartham. Kintu etat padam samasta padam asti. So you don't have to write if there is a samasta padam there, because the samasta padam is formed after the sandhi is already done.
Sandhi is done. Yeah.
Done.
Then idam shariram. Kimapi nasti, excepting that para upakara artham. That also, as you said, it is samasta padam, so it is not required.
Idam adikam shariram.
Idam adhikam shariram chatva sandhi. Idam adhikam anuswara sandhi.
Anuswara sandhi.
Anuswara sandhi.
Idam adhikam shariram. Anuswara sandhi bhavati. Idam plus shariram, you write it with the
anuswara.
अस्तु, सम्यक्.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः. अग्रे अग्रे वयं भगवद्गीतायाः श्लोकान् पठामः चेत् अत्र अधिकाधिकं सन्धिः भवति. So it is important we know the sandhi that happens. So pratamam sopanam padavibhagah. बहु सुलभम् अस्ति परोपकाराय फलन्ति समान पदानि एव भवन्ति. अग्रे सन्धिः द्वितीयं सोपानम्. इदम् अधिकं शरीरम् अनुस्वार सन्धिः भवति. अग्रे अग्रे सामान्यर्थः. What you understand? प्रथमं वयं प्रयत्नं करिष्यामः चेत् आङ्ग्लभाषायामपि वक्तुं लेखितुं शक्यते. सामान्यर्थः कया प्रयत्नं कर्तुं शक्यते. what does this सुभाषितम् indicate इति. सुभाषितस्य सूचना का? सन्ध्या भगिनी भवती वक्तुं शक्यते? भवत्या वक्तुं शक्यते?
नमस्कारः भगिनी. फलानि परोपकारार्थं फलानि यच्छन्ति.
सम्यक् भगिनी. वृक्षाः
फलानि यच्छन्ति. नद्याः प्रवहन्ति.
नद्याः भवति वा?
नद्यः प्रवहन्ति. गावः क्षीरं यच्छन्ति. इदं शरीरं परोपकार्यार्थम् अस्ति.
एव अस्ति. सम्यक्. अन्य भाषायां प्रयत्नं करोति वा? You want to try just translating this into English? Priya Bhagini Bhavati karoti va? Just for our understanding.
Namaskar Mata. The trees gives us fruits. By way of helping us, it gives us fruits. The rivers also helps us by flowing. The cows also gives us milk. Similarly, our body is for others to help. To help others. Similarly, our body is to help us.
Astu, samyak. Dhanyavadah Bhagini.
Dhanyavadah.
Atra trees gives fruit for what sake? For others to consume, others to eat. Rivers also flow for others to use the water. They don't have the water themselves. Swayamapi na pibanti. Cows also give milk for others to consume, and then this body also is there to help others. Samanyartah, for high level understanding. Samskrita bhashayam athava Angila bhashayam, Tamil bhashayam api vaktum lekitum shakyate. Sometimes this step is also skipped. You can directly go to Vakya Visleshanam, and then you can write whatever is the high level in the Tatparyam part and then elaborate it a little bit more. Astu, agree. अग्रे वाक्य विश्लेषणं. वाक्य विश्लेषणं इत्युक्ते किम्? अत्र सुभाषितस्य मध्ये अनेकानि पदानि सन्ति. So you have many words there. एक पदं स्वीकृत्य अत्र पदं नामपदं वा क्रियापदं वा. नामपदम् अस्ति चेत् विभक्तिः का इति अस्माभिः लेखितव्यम्. So you look at each and every word, and typically when we do this, we look at the padavibhagah. So what padavibhagah we have done, you look at that, drishtva, you find out whether the word there is a kriyapadam or a namapadam. Padam drishtva kriyapadam asti va, namapadam asti va. Kriyapadam asti chet kriyapadam iti अस्माभिः लेखितव्यम्. नामपदम् अस्ति चेत् नामपदस्य विभक्तिः का इति वक्तव्यम्. कया प्रयत्नं कर्तुं शक्यते गोमती भगिनी? प्रियेशा भगिनी प्रयत्नं करोति वा?
अस्तु भगिनि। परोपकाराय तत्र परः उपकारः उपकारः पुल्लिङ्गं उपकाराय इत्युक्ते
तस्मिन् स्थाने नामपदं वा क्रियापदं वा विभक्तिः का? Just say what is, if it is a namapadam or a kriyapadam, or you can just say this is paropakaraya, so this is karaya, like ramaya, tadartham chaturthi vibhaktihi. That is enough.
अस्तु भगिनि। परोपकाराय इति नामपदम् अस्ति, चतुर्थी विभक्ति एकवचनं। फलन्ति अस्ति क्रियापदं, प्रथमा विभक्ति।
You don't have to go into the Vyakaranamsham. That we will do only in the Vyakaranamsham part. So in the Vakya Vishleshanam, why we do this? Because only if we know what vibhakti a particular word belongs to, we can proceed further with Anvaya Rachana. So that is why we do, okay, first understanding is, okay, this is Chaturthi Vibhakti, this is Namapadam. Only if we know this is a Kriya Padam, Phalanti iti padam asti chet, okay, vrikshaha is there. That is the karta for phalanti. And then you go to the next step. So in the Vakya Vishleshanam Sopanam, we only write what are the kriya padams in the shloka or the subhashitam, and then every word with which vibhakti it belongs to. We don't say typically what is, whether it is ekavachanam, dvivachanam or bahuvachanam in this stage, and we don't go into the shabda details also.
Oh, avagatam bhagini. Vrikshaha namapadam eva.
Vibhaktihi
prathama vibhakti.
Astu, agre.
पुनः परोपकाराय नामपदं वहन्ति क्रियापदम् अस्ति नद्यः स्त्रीलिंग नामपदम् अस्ति स्त्रीलिंगे अस्ति
You have to say the vibhakti.
विभक्ति प्रथमा विभक्ति
Agre.
पुनः परोपकाराय समानमस्ति दुहन्ति क्रियापदमस्ति गावः नामपदमस्ति प्रथमा विभक्ति
अस्तु सम्यक् अग्रे
परोपकारार्थं नामपदं नास्ति इति अहं मन्ये
नामपदमेव अर्थः अर्थं
द्वितीया
विभक्तिः
पुल्लिङ्गे अस्ति नामपदम् इदं शरीरम् इदं अस्ति एतदपि नामपदम् अस्ति इति अहं मन्ये द्वितीया विभक्ति एकवचने अस्ति द्वितीया विभक्ति अस्ति
किमर्थं द्वितीया विभक्तिः
इन्द शरीरं अहं चिन्तयामि शरीरस्य विशेषणम् अस्ति इदम् इति
शरीरम् अस्ति शरीरम् अस्ति चेत् शरीरम् अस्ति अत्र सम्बन्धः कः what is the connection between the shariram and asti
not so sure
we saw right there can be between the kriya and the namapadam it can be either the karta or the karma padam or karana padam or dana kriya or it can be the apadanam or adhikaranam, right? So that is the relationship between the kriya and the namapadam. So shariram asti chet what is the connection there? So the other clue is asdhatu does not take a
अद्याहारः अस्ति अस्ति इति अद्याहारः
asti iti adhyaharah. Uttamam, satyameva. Balakah asti. Right? That is balakah asti chet. Asti is the kriya padam. What is the balakah there?
प्रथमा विभक्ति बालकः अस्ति कर्तृ.
Similarly, shariram asti. So asdhatu is a akaraka. It doesn't have the karma padam. Right? Akarmaka dhatuhu asti. So in general, when you say balakah asti bhavati, if it comes, it is usually it is an akarmaka dhatuhu. So the relationship with the kriya is usually the karta. And karta comes in which vibhakti?
Prathama asti kalo?
Astu. Karta is in prathama vibhakti. Tartam shariram iti padam atra vibhakti ka?
Prathama vibhakti eva.
Astu. Idam iti padam kim varnayati?
Shariram varnayati.
Idam padasya vibhakti ka?
Prathama eva.
Astu. That's all. Asti iti padam api punaha kriya padam asti. Idanim patatu kriya padani kani? Kriya.
Should I read all the?
Astu bhagini patatu.
Kriya bhalanti vahanti duhanti. Sorry, kriya padani atra bhalanti vahanti duhanti. Prathama vibhakti padani atra vrikshaha nadhyah gavah idam shariram. Titiya vibhakti padam ekameva paropakarartham. Chaturthi vibhakti padam ekameva paropakaraya.
Paropakaraya. Astu. Samyak bhagini. Avagatam va? Did you understand the step?
Avagatam bhagini.
Astu. Samyak. Dhanyavada. I'm going to lower all the hands. If you have a question until now, you can raise your hand and I'll unmute. Vadatu bhagini.
परोपकारार्थं द्वितीया विभक्ति कथं भवति इति मम संशयः अस्ति.
अर्थः परोपकारार्थः इति प्रथमा विभक्तिः. परोपकारार्थम् इति द्वितीया विभक्तिः. सामान्यतया for the sake of इति पदस्य उत्तरं द्वितीया विभक्ति रूपेण भवति.
But for the sake of we use in like chaturthi meaning आगच्छति खलु रामाय तादृशं नास्ति परोपकाराय अस्ति चेदेव चतुर्थी आगच्छति.
For the sake of, so paropakarartham iti padam asti. Samanam we can also write paropakaraya. Kimartham iti padasya uttaram dvayam bhavati. You can either say paropakaraya, which will be in chaturthi vibhakti. You can also say paropakarartham, which will be in tritiya vibhakti.
What is the exact translation that will be for in? Can you just say it in?
What translation?
Like Tamil நம்ம சொல்லணும்னா ராமனை அப்படி வந்தா द्वितीयाன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? தாத்ரிஷம் அஸ்தி வித்யாலயத்தை அடைந்தார். அந்த மாதிரி எப்படி சொல்றது?
பரோபகாரத்திற்காக.
காக வந்தா அது நான்காம் வேற்றுமை ஆயிடும் இல்லையா தமிழ்ல சொல்றப்போ. So you can't compare.
No. That's why you can't think in another language, right? So which is why, for what sake do you, for what reason do you go to school? Iti prashnaha asti chet. You can say pathanaya. For what reason do you go pathanaya? So that is a valid answer, right? You
that
can
is chaturthi.
which is Chaturthi. You can also say it Patanartham. I go to school Patanartham. So when you say Patanartham, it is Dvitiya Vibhakti because it doesn't take the declension of the Chaturthi Vibhakti.
I thought till now that Artham comes means I thought it was Avyayah because Kimartham I read in.
Kimartham. So Avyayam also it comes in certain places, but most of the times Patanartham because it is Artham, right? Arthaha iti padasya. You have it as Dvitiya Vibhakti. So even in the book, I will give an example. Hold on, if you have the textbook with you. There is one Tava Sanyartham.
Vidyabhyasartham aham agatah.
Even I was thinking this should be in Avyaya Padam, right? Because it doesn't change. But Artham, Arthaha iti padasya Dvitiya Vibhakti eva Artham iti bhavati. Just give me 1 second. I will tell you the page number in the book.
In Shiksha, is it?
In Shiksha. This is lesson 2. Tavasanyartham in that shloka. I can't find. Let me check Chaturtha Pata.
Okay, I will go through it. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Pustaka madhye api asti. I'm just trying to find the Tavasanyartham is which chapter? Page number 55.
Which lesson? Because I have it in Tamil.
Tritiyaha Pataha.
Tritiyaha. Okay.
So in here, Sanyartham is given as Avyaya Padam there. So it can come either as a Avyaya Padam or it can come in Dvitiya Vibhakti. If you take as Arthaha, then Artham becomes Dvitiya Vibhakti.
Astu. Dhanyawadaha.
Astu. Agre. किं कृतवन्तः प्रश्नः अस्ति वा पद्मा भगिनी 1 second.
Bhagini, same thing I had that what is a karma padam there if it is artham, idam shariram is there for
Paropakarartham. Paropakarartham. So this artham idam shariram asti.
1 minute, Bhagini. There paraha is the karma padam, no? How parobhaharartham is karma padam? That is what it says. Dvitiya Vibhakti means parobhaharartham is the karma padam. But what I am asking, paraha is the karma padam, no?
There is no paraha there. Where is paraha there?
Parobhaharartham means paraha upakaram. When you split that.
No, there is no split happening there. No. In that Subhashitam, there is no split happening there. So if a Samasta Padam is given already there, we don't split when we do it to the Anvaya Rachana. You use the word as such.
So this shariram is there for helping others means.
Correct.
Helping others is itself is karma padam.
Correct. So kimartham iti padasya uttaram, you can either say it is avyayam because it for what reason iti prashnaha asti chet, you can say either it is an avyaya padam or you can take it as arthaha padasya dvitiya vibhakti paropakara. Iti vaktum shakyate. I just clarified this recently with my teacher also because I had the same doubt for another shloka. So she said you can either say it is avyaya padam or you can say it in dvitiya vibhakti. Atra doshah nasti.
Okay.
It doesn't, the only clarification there is, it is not, paropakarartham is not a viseshana padam for idam and shariram. So it is not prathama vibhakti. That is the only thing we need to remember. So if you write it as avyayam, that is also correct. I think understanding it as avyayam is a little more easier than understanding as ditya vibhakti. Paropakarartham iti padam katam bhavati? Paropakarartah paropakarartham. That is how you get that padam, right? So it is
okay.
Arthaha iti padasya artham. It is dvitiya vibhakti. So that so similarly, whenever you say gamanam, prakshalanam iti padam vayam vadamaha chet, that also comes in dvitiya vibhakti, right? So similarly, arthaha iti padam artham iti bhavati. That is my understanding. So you can, if you say it is avyayam, that is correct, because atra idam shariram vayam likamaha chet tad shuttam. If you say ayam dehaha paropakarartham, it doesn't change, because the paropakarartham can be anything. It can be a strilinga padam, pullinga padam, or an apumsakalinga padam. Paropakarartham will be only paropakarartham. It doesn't change, right? So you can say it is a avyaya padam also, which is what in that sanyartham is given. But she also said you can say it is in dvitiya vibhakti because it comes from the declaration of arthaha. So that is also correct.
So can I understand like this? Idam shariram paropakararthaya asti.
Paropakaraya asti or paropakarartham asti.
Okay. Idam shariram paropakaraya asti. Otherwise, idam shariram paropakarartham asti. Okay.
Avagamanartham vaktum shakyate. Kintu atra anvaya rachana madhye you have to use the exact word which is given there.
Okay. Dhanyavadaha bhagini. Dhanyavadaha.
Astu. It might be easier if we say this is anvayam because it doesn't change. So even though saying it as dvitiya vibhakti is correct, I'm just going to quickly change it. Avyayam. One second. But you can also say it as in dvitiya vibhakti because arthaha iti padasya artham iti bhavati. So phalanti, phalanti, vahanti, duhanti, because I think it will help having this. I think somebody has your video on. Can you please switch off? Can you see now? Okay. Any questions till now? Srinath Mahodaya?
No, in this, actually, you are not giving emphasis on para upakarartham, but you are always adding as paropakarartham. Why is that? Para upakarartham itself gives a separate meaning, saying that it is not swa upakaram, it is only for others. So para upakaram idam shariram asti. So the sentence is complete there itself. But we should say upakarartham only, isn't it? Because paraha is for others.
No, it is already been created for us. Paranam upakarartham, for the sake of helping others, is iti padam is already made for us. So there is a samasam that is happening there, and the subhashitam has already been constructed with that samasam.
So we can't.
So you don't split there. So in the pada vibhagaha, you don't do the samasa split.
Okay.
For example, devalayah iti padam asti chet. Why is it called devalayah? Devanam alayah devalayah iti atra samasah asti. But devalayah iti padam subhashitanam madhye athava shlokanam madhye bhavati chet, you don't take that and in the pada vibhagaha phase or in the vakya visleshanam phase, you don't say devanam alayah and then you don't split it there. Devanam alayah eva devalayah iti padam asti. That samasta padam was already created for us through samasam. So in the next level, when we learn samasam, that time there is an additional step where you have to call out the samasaha also. When you call that out, at that time you have to say, oh, para plus upakaraya is para plus upakara, and then tasmai iti you have to add. That time you have to explain the samasaha that happens there. But in this stage, in the Anvaya Rachana that we do, whatever is given there in the pada vibhagaha or vakya visleshanam, it is taken as such. Sometimes what they do when you write it, you can write it as hyphenated. So you can write it as para dash upakaraya. And then within bracket, you can write gunasandhi. There is no dosha there. If you do that, it is not wrong. But you don't split it in this. It is just for our understanding that there is a samasam that is happening there and the gunasandhi that change para plus upakaraya to paropakaraya iti. That's all.
Thank you, madam.
It's already been done for us. So only if we do the sopanam where you explain the samasam that is happening there, you do the samasam part. Astu. Atra paropakaraaya phalanti vrikshaha, paropakaraaya vahanti nadyah, paropakaraaya duhanti gavaha, paropakarartham idam shariram. If we split it into each, there are 4 sentences there. Asti kalu? Ekeka vakyam svikritya anvaya rachanam kuryat. So how do you do? Kaya prayatanam kartum shakyate. Geeta Bhagini bhavati karotu.
Namaste Bhagini. Paropakaraaya vrikshaha phalanti iti aham iti artha asti. Adani phalanti kriyapadam asti. Kartupadasya krite aham prashnam asti. Phalani ke phalanti.
Astu. Pratipadartha api vaktum shakyate. So for phalanti, in the Shiksha level, they don't expect in Sanskrit, but we can try. Phalanti, what could be the equivalent? Gives fruits, right? That's the English translation.
It gives us fruits. It fruits for our others' benefit, others' consumption, whatever it is.
What is an equivalent? You can say phalani yachanti.
Yachanti. That's the word, right?
And agre.
Then paropakara. Kimartham phalanti?
Ke phalanti. That is the first, no? Ke
phalanti, vrikshaha phalanti.
Samana pratipadarthaha?
Samana pratipadartha. Kimartham no samana pratipadartha.
For vrikshaha. What is another word for vrikshaha? So taruhu is another word for vrikshaha.
So, do we have to translate it like that or substitute another word for the already very familiar word also, ma'am?
Preferably, yes. So that is how that is how vocabulary builds, right?
No, that's right. I'm asking you whether we'll have to do it. Sorry.
Like I said, in this level, from Samskrita Bharati exam point of view, they don't expect. You can write vrikshaha and you can write trees. That's absolutely fine. Right?
Okay. As Vaniji student, yes.
So when I wrote, my paper didn't have anything in English. Whether right or wrong, it was all in Sanskrit.
Great.
So I think as students, we can try. In case we are not able to get the word, it's okay if you write trees. Say, for example, for vrikshaha, but say there is another word for which you are not able to get. So what I used to do is I used to look at the online dictionary for a word and then see what would be the equivalent meaning that I can use, that I can easily remember.
Great. I'll try.
I'll try that. Yeah.
Sure. Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha, paropakaraya vrikshaha phalanti. Kimartham phalanti? Vrikshaha taruhu plural is
taravaha, like guru shabda.
Taravaha. Guru. Taravaha paropakaraya phalanti.
Paropakaraya. What do you mean by paropakaraya?
As somebody has already put it, mama krite na paropakaraya sarve janani khadanti. Sarve janaha khadanti.
So paropakaraya, so para plus upakaraya, right? So if you just take the individual word para and upakara, what would be the meaning? Para upakara, para sahaya. Astu. That's how you try. Go ahead, Bhagini.
Oh, sure, ma'am. I'll try definitely. Para sahayartham vrikshaha phalanti.
Astu. So you can say that as anyesham krite, for the sake of others, or you can say anyesham sahayartham, for the sake of helping others.
Sahayartham.
That is also correct.
Okay. Next, paropaka.
Let another person try the next sentence.
Okay, ma'am.
Samyak kritam Gita Bhagini.
धन्यवाद.
गोमती भगिनी द्वितीयं वाक्यम् अत्र वदतु भगिनी.
परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः. नद्यः also जलाशयः.
अत्र प्रथमं सोपानं किं, when you do the individual क्रियापदं
वहन्ति. नद्याः वहन्ति
प्रवहन्ति. सम्यक्.
नद्यः किमर्थं प्रवहन्ति?
भगिनी एकनिमिषं. You in your answer so far you have the kriya padam. You don't have a question for, you have not arrived at nadyah at all.
Okay.
Right? So first,
Kim के प्रवहन्ति.
किमर्थं के?
नद्यः. नद्यौ के काः प्रवहन्ति.
काः
प्रवहन्ति.
काः वहन्ति. The question always relates to the word in the shloka or the subhashitam.
Okay.
So you have to take the pratipadartha is for our understanding that, okay, we know what this means. What we are conveying through pratipadartha is whatever the subhashitam or the shloka is, we are basically telling the world that, okay, I know what this means because this is the equivalent word. So when you form the question, you should take the exact word from the shloka or the subhashitam. So kriya padam is vahanti. So the question has to be based on vahanti only. So kaha vahanti.
Vahanti. Nadyah vahanti.
Nadyah vahanti. Samana padam janati va?
Nadyah jala in I forgot we had in Parichaya also.
अस्तु चिन्ता मास्तु अत्र हलन्तशब्दः अस्ति सरित् इति शब्दः सरित् सरितौ सरितः सो सरितः तटिनी that is also you can use tatini tatinyau tatinyah but the usually nadi something that flows iti sarit iti padam asti saritah
saritah vahanti saritah kimartam vahanti
atra you should not use saritah kimartam
nadyah original word
you can so you don't have you don't have to say again nadyah kimartam vahanti you don't have to say but if you say also it is not wrong sometimes I write the purna prashnah for my understanding so kriya vahanti kaha vahanti nadyah kimartam nadyah vahanti that is also correct kimartam vahanti iti vayam vadamah chet it is understood that is a follow up question for the previous answer iti kimartam vahanti
Paropakaraaya vahanti.
Paropakaraaya vahanti. Samana padam?
Paropakara. Anyesham upayogartam.
Anyesham upayogartam. Samyak. Anyesham krite. Iti nadyah pravahanti. Samyak bagini. Samyak kritam. Agre. Jayashri bagini?
Yes, madam.
You have unmuted me.
Oh, I've unmuted the wrong person. Is it?
Shall I tell Bhagini?
Jayashri Bhagini, Bhavati Vadat.
Paropakaraya gavaha duganti. Gavaha duganti. Kriya padam duganti. Kaha duganti.
Duhanti iti samana padam.
Dugdam yachanti.
Samyak. Atava shiram.
Dadati.
Dadati.
Duganti, plural. Kaha duganti, gavaha, denavaha.
Samyak.
Kimartam duganti, paropakaraya duganti, anyesham upakarartam duganti. Anyesham krite.
Samyak. Bahu samyak. Duhanti, shiram, dadati, yachanti. Gavaha bahusulavam denu shabdasya bahuvachanam denavah pakaraya anyesham krite bahu samyak bagini
nadyah madam tatinyah also we can tell no
tatini is also river only so you can say tatini tatinyau tatinyah that is also correct there are I think in Amarakosha there are about I think 14 words or 24 words for nadi alone I think
okay
I have the book here 1 second I don't have the Amarakosha book it comes in the Gita Sopanam 1 second.
Okay.
It's very interesting how they have been coined and sometimes when we read it, it is mind blowing to see how much of content is there and yeah so 12 words are there just for Nadi Shabdam. Nadi, Sarit, Tarangini, Shaivalini, Tatini, Hradini, Dhuni, Shrotaswini, Dvipavati, Sravanti, Nimagna, Apaga. So these are the words that are there for Nadi alone.
Apaga we know.
Parichaya we learned, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Astu. Agre, Uma Bhagini Bhavati Karoti. Agre.
Paropakaraartham idam shariram. Kriyapadam asti. Kim asti shariram. Shariram.
Tamil Bhashayam api vayam vadamaha. Tamil la enna solluvom?
Inda udambu solluva.
Vera?
Shariram na solluva.
Deham, we say deham, no?
Astu.
Shariram. Dehaha.
कीदृशं शरीरम्
अस्तु
इदं शरीरम् एषः किमर्थं शरीरं परोपकारार्थं शरीरम् अन्येषां कृते
किमर्थं शरीरं नास्ति किमर्थम् अस्ति for what reason it is there so the question should be किमर्थम् अस्ति चित्तमस्तु
किमर्थम् अस्ति परोपकारार्थं अन्येषां कृते अन्येषां सहायं
कर्तुं
सहायार्थम्
उपयोगार्थम् अस्तु सम्यक् भगिनि Okay, I'm going to put the hands down and then if you have questions, you can ask. Prashnah asti va? Anvaya rachanam khatam bhavati. So you form the sentence. Vrikshaha paropakaraya phalanti. Pratamam karta bhavati. Kartrupadasya visheshana padani santi chet. Tasmat purvam visheshana padani bhavanti. यदि अत्र विशालाः वृक्षाः अस्ति चेत् you will add the विशालाः before the वृक्षाः वृक्षाः परोपकाराय फलन्ति नद्यः परोपकाराय वहन्ति गावः परोपकाराय दुहन्ति इदं शरीरं परोपकारार्थम् एव अस्ति अन्वयः अग्रे तात्पर्यं वयं प्रतिपदार्थं likitavantah. We have written the pratipadartham. So you put all the pratipadartham together and you can form the tatparyam. If you just know the simple words, you don't have to go anything complicated. Just simple words, take all the words and then form it in a nice sentence. That will be the tatparyam. Vayam likitavantah. What did we write? For vrikshaha. Taruhu iti padam asti for vrikshaha. Samanam taravah. तरवः अन्येषां सहायार्थं फलानि यच्छन्ति नद्यः समानं सरित् शब्दं प्रयुज्य सरितः बहुवचनम् अन्येषां कृते प्रवहन्ति समानं गावः धेनवः अन्येषां कृते क्षीरं यच्छन्ति अथवा ददति एषः देहः अपि अन्येषां सहायार्थम् एव अस्ति You can also write 2 more sentences if you want. अन्येषां साहाय्यं वयं न कुर्मः चेत् देहस्य किमपि प्रयोजनं न भवति if we don't. So in tatparyam you can elaborate a little bit more if you want. What you understand from the subhashitam. Subhashitasya mukhya सूचना का इति अपि लेखितुं शक्यते. So you can write the high level meaning and then what you understand it. Like for example in Tamil or English we say needihi or moral iti vayam vadamah kalu. So like that, what is the understanding from here? So we should help others. Whenever we get a chance, we help others. If we don't help, then there is no use of getting this body. Iti asmabhihi lekitavyam. There was one question. What was the question? Deham. Dehaha. So it is eshaha. Astu. Kimapi prashnah asti va? Srinath Mahodaya. Prichatu agre vayam vyakaranamshaha. Pashyamaha. Vadatu Mahodaya.
Madam, please don't mistake me. Just for clarification, I am asking.
Vadatu Prichatu.
Para upakaraya, also if you can break. Kebhya upakaraya, you can ask me. Sorry. So kebhya upakaram, para upakaraya. Like that also, if you can have one more question. No?
Paropakaraya. It will not be kebhya. What will it be? The question is correct. What is the question? How will it be?
No, kasmai yarukaha. So adoda plural vandu kebhya.
But anga ekavachanam dane irukku. It is only ekavachanam, right? So the question also has to be in ekavachanam.
Kasmai.
Kasmai. That is also correct. Absolutely right. So you can write kasmai. So paropakaraya. That is also correct. But in general, for the sake of iti uttaram bhavati chet prashnaha sarvada kimartam eva bhavati. For what reason? Atra Ramaya asti chet, you can say kasmai. That is correct. Technically, this is also correct. But in general, when the uttaram is for the sake of iti uttaram bhavati chet, atra kimartham iti prashnaha bhavati. Grammatically, it is correct. But when logically, when you think, you know, kimartham fits more than kasmai.
Thank you, ma'am.
Samyak. Mangala Bhagini Prichatu. Ansha Bhagini. Vadatu Bhagini.
Bhavati uttati, right? Like samasa asti chet sandhimna kurmah iti. Kintu vayam padam janimah etat padam samasah va atava na va iti katam janimah iti eka samshayah asti. Anantaram in the previous slide shariram idam iti asti kalu tatra idam yeshah tadrisham na agachati kalu.
Yeshah defines the dehaha.
Oh, dehaha.
Dehaha.
Kidrishah shariram. What was that?
It should be kidrisham shariram.
Kidrisham shariram. Because
it should be kidrisham shariram. But Eshaha defines the one second, let me just kidrisham shariram, but Eshaha defines the dehaha, which is a pullinga padam.
That samasa padam, can you please explain? Like we think it is samasa and we don't do the sandhi, then it becomes a mistake, is it?
No. So it, how do you do this? Know whether you have to do it or not? You look at the pada vibhagaha, right? If you look at the pada vibhagaha and you know the first word ends with something, the second word begins with something else, but then in the shloka, the appearance is different. Then there is a sandhi that is happening there. So you have to do the sandhi there.
Sorry, I'm not getting, like paropakaraya api para upakaraya guna sandhihi bhavati eva atra kalu.
Astu Bhagini, atra bhavati eva, but it is part of a samasam. So you don't have to do it at this level. If you write it, it is not wrong.
My doubt is, how do we know that particular word is a samasa word or not? At this stage, we don't know, right? So how is there any clue or to understand, like in general? I want to know, like how do we find out whether that?
So your question is, how do I know whether to do a sandhi or not?
How to find out, like whether this word is samasa, so we don't have to do, we have to write the word as such, and this word is we have to do the sandhi like that. How do we know at this stage? Is there any clue for that? That is
so you understood the pada vibhagaha part?
Yeah, pada vibhagaha, we have to separate the words and write.
You separate the words and write. So after
if there is sandhi, we have to do the sandhi chedam, and then we have to write the words also there, right?
If there is sandhi that is happening, you correct. Correct. So you do the pada vibhagaha. You understood that step, right?
Yeah, that step I understood. My doubt is,
one second. So after you do the pada vibhagaha, you see the words there, right? Yeah. You see the pada vibhagaha words there, right? Now, paropakaraya, when you do the pada vibhagaha, will you split?
No, in this it is very clear that we don't have to split. But,
similarly, in other cases also, you will know. For example, if Devalayaha is there, you will not, at this level, you will not be able to split it as Devasya Alayaha iti karanat Devalayaha. You will not be able to split because you don't know samasam, right? So, when you look at the shloka, you do the pada vibhagaha. You look at the purva padam and the uttara padam. The way sandhi needs to be done, you look at the purva padam, you look at the next padam. If the padam is different from what you see in the shlokam, then there is a sandhi that is happening there. And you do the sandhi. If you are writing the word as such, then it is a samasa.
Like if paropakaraya asti chet, para plus upakaraya is not the right way of doing the sandhi, you mean to say? Like it is not the right thing.
It is not, para plus upakaraya you will at this level you will not write it as para plus upakaraya there, right? You will only when you do the pada vibhagaha, how will you do it? You will only write it as paropakaraya, kama phalanti, kama vrikshaha, kama. That is how you will write.
Yeah.
Right.
But what you are saying that that word that is not I'm unable to understand. Like the second part you said, right? Like that. Can you please explain it once more with an example? Not in this is easy. Paropakaraya we can easily understand.
So we will be doing more right in class. So as you go, you will know. So your question is, how will I know whether it is a samasta padam and I should not do sandhi, and I know I need not do sandhi? How will I know it is a split word? So when we do the exercises, when we do the pada vibhagam, you will know you're splitting the word because you have split the word. When you look at the purva padam and the uttara padam and you see that it has changed into something else in the subhashitam or the shlokam, you will know there is a sandhi happening there. It can be one of the three sandhis, right? Then you write what the sandhi is.
So if there is a change in the words from whatever is given, then it is a sandhi. If there is no change, then it is a samasta padam.
No, you can't conclude like that, Bhagini.
Okay, at this stage, okay. At least I can understand that if there is a change in the words apart from whatever is given.
The clue I would give you is you write the pada vibhagaha. After you write the pada vibhagaha, you see that the split padam has changed into parivartanam atra bhavati chet. There is a sandhi that is happening there. Like for example, Ramaha asti. You are splitting it as Ramaha asti, and the shloka has Ramosti, right? So then you know you have split it as Ramaha and asti.
There is a difference, so it is definitely sandhi.
Sandhi that is happening there. That's all.
Okay.
So look at the pada vibhagaha. Look at every. So look at every word. Look at the next word. Look at and then see if how the word is there in the subhashitam or the shloka. And then you will know whether now with respect to is it a, should I split this or not? Is it is a samasaha or not? At this stage, it is not required.
Okay.
So after you do the pada vibhagaha, see if there is a parivartanam that is happening from the pada vibhagaha and the shloka. It will be very clear.
The sandhi rules what we have studied so far.
That is why I did the sandhi first, right? I didn't go lesson wise because at this stage, if in the first lesson it is given that it is anuswara sandhi. Now without learning, you will not know. So which is why we completed sandhi first and then we are going chapter wise. Now by looking at it, you will know if it is if the word is there, right? In the shloka, there is a word that says that one sandhi word that is split. I am just not able to get an example. So
like idam shariram is there. Idam is
there is shariram. So you know that idam, you write it when you write the pada vibhagaha, you write it with the halantama. But when you split it, you write it as idam plus shariram, and then you write it with anuswaraha. Like for example, in one of the Bhagavad Gita shloka, I just picked the book, right? So shaibhyascha iti atra asti. So when you split it, how will you write shaibhyaha plus cha? Then you know there is a visarga sandhi and then shutva sandhi which is happening there, right? So if for example another word kashi rajaha, right? Kashiyaha rajaha, Kashyaha rajaha, Kashi rajaha. That is how the samasam happens there. But when you do the pada vibhagaha, you will not write that. Pada vibhagaha will be only
Kashi rajaha eva.
How is Kashi rajaha formed? Kashyaha raja iti karanat Kashi rajaha. That is how that is how it is formed, right? But the shloka has Kashi raja. So you will write it as Kashi rajaha eva. Now Kashi rajaha plus cha will become visarga sandhi plus shutvam later.
So that alone we will do the sandhi.
Only that you will do. You will not do the samasam there.
Now it is very clear. Dhanyawada.
And with exercise, as in when we do more exercises, so I will tell you my experience. When I initially started with the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So from the second chapter you have. So I tried doing my own, Anvaya Rachana, and at this time I'm extremely grateful to Dr. Soumya from Vyoma. You can see, in fact, I would suggest everybody enrolls. If you find time, you should definitely listen to her. For Shiksha, I only went through her videos and I read, and I'm extremely grateful to her for that. What fantastic teaching, and with a lot of clarity. Of course, it was not a live class, so you can't ask questions. If you have questions, you have to resort to online look up, or if you know any other teacher, you have to ask them. But I benefited a lot from Soumya Bhagini's teaching. So my Shiksha, I didn't attend any class. I only looked at her videos and I did self-study. So it helped a lot. So the first 2-3 chapters, the way I approached it, it is sort of, I wouldn't say by-hearting, but sort of understanding the process. And how do you understand the process? You go through the steps again and again. So the first 10, maybe 5 to 7 Bhagavad Gita shlokas, read and reread, write and rewrite 2-3 times. And once you get the grasp of it, the rest of them were quite easy. In fact, the later part, I was just able to look at the shloka and do the Anvaya Rachana by myself without looking at Soumya Bhagini's document. So it is only practice that helps us do and redo again and again. So the initial part I'm not able to do by myself. I don't know why is the question like this? Why can't this come first and this come later? Can the order be different? So those sorts of questions, cropped up in the mind. But with practice, the first few chapters, like, from the second chapter, Bhagavad Gita starts, and, 2, 3, and 4, do and redo again and again. And once you get a grasp of how it is done, the later chapters are way more easier. And in fact, the last 2-3 chapters, I just went through because I knew if those questions are asked, I will be able to crack it in the exam. So I think that's what it is. It is once it gets into our system, okay, this is the process. Like first step is this, second step is this. You do the pada vibhagaha, and sometimes you make mistakes in pada vibhagaha where you need to split. You forget splitting. If you forget to split, then you don't do the sandhi there. But with practice, you just get a hang of it, and then you will be able to crack it. Padma Bhagini, prashna asti va?
Bhagini, if there is a avagraha chinham in between paro pakaraya, in between avagraha chinham is there, then we have to do the sandhi vichedam, no?
I wouldn't.
Then it is not a samasta padam.
No, I would not quote this example because it is different. But if there is a word which is given there with the purva rupa sandhi, then yeah, you split and write, and then you see if there is some other sandhi which is happening there. Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Bhagini.
We did sandhi, so I'll go to the we were in. We finished Vyakaranamshaha. Let's try that. Astu. Kaya vaktum shakyate Vyakaranamshaha bahu sulabham asti. Sometimes you also make my challenge always with Vyakaranamshaha is used to be whether it is a pullinga padam or an apumsakalinga padam. Always confusion. So I used to resort to the online dictionary to see if it is when it is in Dvitiya Vibhaktihi, it is the pratipatikam an apumsakalinga padam or a pullinga padam. And how do you know? You know it with time. And these are things that you sort of just get into your system, just like we build our vocabulary. So with the time, you will know if the vibhakti is given in generally for the other vibhakti, it is relatively easier because there is a clear distinction between pullinga padam, strilinga padam, and of course napumsakalinga padam is very similar after the tritiya vibhakti. So it gets a little confusing. It is there. So for example, pushpaihi is there. Pushpaihi is there. Is it akarantaha napumsakalinga padam pushpa padam, or it is akarantaha pullinga padam pushpaha astiva? How do you know? we just know Pushpam is Napumsakalinga Padam, right? Because right from the beginning, we know Pushpam, Vahanam. These are all Napumsakalinga Padam. But if there is another Padam, it is Pullinga Padam, like Rasaha. I always used to think Rasam is Napumsakalinga Padam. And then I corrected myself. Okay, Rasaha is, Phalarasaha becomes Phalarasam. So Rasaha is Pullinga Padam. So with time you basically do. Okay, Padma Bhagini, Bhavati Prayatanam Karoti va? Pratamaha.
Am Bhagini. Paropakaraya is Chatuthi Vibhakti.
Samyak. Prathamam.
Vachana.
Prathamam, you have to say it like Rama Shabdaha. How do you say? Karantaha, Pullingaha, Rama Shabdaha. Ramaha is Prathama Vibhaktihi Ekavachanam. So that is the format that we follow. If it is Lata Shabdaha, how do we say? Akarantaha, Strilingaha, Lata Shabdaha, Lataha asti chet Prathama Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam athava Dvitiya Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam. So that is the format that you follow.
Okay. Akarantaha, Pullingaha, Paropakaraha Shabdaha. Paropakaraya Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam.
Prathama Vibhakti.
Sorry, Bhagini. Sorry. Chaturthi Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Chaturthi Vibhakti.
Chaturthi Vibhaktihi Ekavachanam. Akarantaha Pullingaha Paropakara Shabdaha Vibhaktihi Ekavachanam. Samyak.
Ekavachanam.
Samyak Kritam. Bhavani Bhagini.
Thank you.
Hari Om Vaniji.
Namaskaraha.
Namaskaraha. Halanti Kriyapadam Bahuvachanam.
Dhatuhu
Phal Shabda.
Phal Dhatu.
Phal Dhatu.
Lakaraha
Latlakaraha.
Latlakaraha. Prathama Purushaha Bahuvachanam. Samyak. Uma Bhagini.
Akarantaha Pullingaha Vriksha Shabdaha Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachanam.
Vriksha Shabdaha Prathama Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam. Samyak. Jai Shri Bhagini.
Vahanti. Vahu dhatuku Latlakaraka Bahuvachanam Prathama Purusha.
Vachana Bahuvachanam.
Bahuvachanam.
Samyak. Bhagini, just 1 second. Let me just turn off. Sorry, it became very cold. Agre.
Nadyaha. Ikara.
Dhanyavadah Bhagini. Anya copy karo.
Okay.
Dhanyavadah. Astu. Agre. Priyesha Bhagini.
Bhagini. Nadyaha asti va? Ikaranta Strilinga Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachanam.
Astu. Ikarantaha Strilingaha Prathama Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam. Nadi Nadyau Nadyaha. Samyak. Astu. Agre. Vijayalakshmi Bhagini.
Dukhanti. Idu Kriyapadam. Bahuvachanam. Latlakaram. Latlakaram. Dhatu Dukka.
Dukh Dhatu. Dogdi Dugdaha Duhanti. Apavadaha. This is an exception. Dogdi Dugdaha Duhanti. Dukh Dhatu. Astu. Agre. Gavaha. Gomati Bhagini.
Gavaha Go Shabdaha
Okarantaha
Strilingaha गोशब्दः प्रथमा विभक्ति बहुवचनं
प्रथमा विभक्तिः बहुवचनं सम्यक् अस्तु अग्रे उमा भगिनी
नमस्ते भगिनी
नमस्कारः
भगिनी गावः शब्दः स्त्रीलिङ्गम् अस्ति वा पुल्लिङ्गम् अस्ति वा
स्त्रीलिङ्गपदम्
अस्तु परोपकारार्थं
अव्ययपदम्
अस्तु
अथवा अकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः द्वितीया विभक्तिः एकवचनं तदपि वक्तुं शक्यते
अस्तु इदं सर्वनामशब्दः नपुंसकलिङ्गः प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचनं
प्रथमा विभक्तिः एकवचनं सम्यक् अग्रे अनुषा भगिनी इदं समाप्तं
सर्वनामपदम्
इदं समाप्तं भगिनी अग्रे
शरीरम् अकारान्तः नपुंसकलिङ्गं प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचनम्
अकारान्तः
नपुंसकलिङ्गः
प्रथमा
विभक्ति एकवचनं
प्रथमा विभक्ति
गौः इति प्रवेशपुस्तके वयं पठितवन्तः पुल्लिङ्ग मध्ये वयं पठितवन्तः प्रवेश मध्ये वयं पठितवन्तः खलु तत् पुस्तकम् इट् वास् देयर
ओकारान्तः स्त्रीलिङ्गपदं नास्ति one second I might have made a mistake there 1 second भगिनी
I think it is there in both the lingas. I'm not sure of that, but in pravesha it is there as pullinga.
I'm just getting my book. I might have made a mistake. I thought go is actually स्त्रीलिङ्गपदं पुल्लिङ्गपदम् अत्र दोषः अस्ति अहं शुद्धं करिष्यामि तदेव उमा भगिनी अपि पृष्टवती खलु
but it's very
confusing
I don't know.
yeah that's why I think like I thought it's like dhenu but dhenu is strilinga-padam
go it's there in both the lingas I think so I'm not sure of that if you have that book you can check in that like I think it is there in pullingam and strilingam you just check it because I saw this in pravesha but other book
I can check in shabda manjari
shabda manjari should be there
I don't know yeah this is definitely given in pullinga I've made a mistake in my Shiksha also I've written it as strilinga pada I'll check okay astu I don't know if it comes in both it typically doesn't right usually you have it only in one Geeta Bhagini antima kriyapada
अस्ति अस्ति क्रियापदम् अस्ति किल
अस्तु
क्रियापदम् अस्ति लट्लकारः प्रथमा विभक्ति
विभक्ति
अस्ति तं
प्रथमा विभक्तिः वा vibhakti comes only for nama padam right what is
asti kriya padam lakarah that's all
prathama purushah
that's what I wanted to say and I said prathama vibhakti Bhagini, go is both
the strilingam and pullingam. Yeah,
both. It is there in dhatu in Shabda Manjari. It is also given as pullinga.
But I think you can say it as both Strilinga Padam and Pullinga Padam.
I think go in one sense means a bull. And I think if we use it as a cow, probably we use it as a Strilinga there.
Strilinga, yeah. I think this is one Shabda that comes in both. So which is why I think I've also written as Strilinga Padam.
And I have a doubt. Tarangini means waves, is it, Bhagini?
It is also called wave. Waves is what Tarangam is what we call as waves.
We say Bhava Tarangini, so the thought waves
but it is all because something it flows, right? Waves flow. So that is just another padam that is used for
Nadi also.
Nadi.
Okay. Sami. Dhanyawad.
Yeah, there is always the beauty of Sanskrita Bhasha is that, if you go to how this is formed, right? If there is a word that is given, kumbam karoti iti kumbakaraha. Tarangam asti iti karanat tarangini. So there is always a explanation which is given for the formation of the word.
Yeah.
So
Samasam could be easier.
Yeah, it's so I am just learning it right now. It is very overwhelming. I have to see how it goes.
Great, man. Great. Dhanyawad.
Astu. Okay. Samyak. Okay, Pullinga. So Hema Bagni also confirmed. So it comes in both because I remember reading it in Strilinga Padam, but I didn't realize in Pravesha book is given in Pullinga Padam. So yeah, good. It can be used in both. There's always a new learning that happens every day. It's the beauty of learning and teaching. What is idam? So idam is a sarvanama padam, right? So this, eshaha, like you say, etad, saha. So this is a pronoun. Sarvanama padam is nothing but pronoun. So this book, this boy. So that is sarvanama padam. So sarvanama padam asti che dakarantaha napumsakalingaha idam shabdaha. So that is idam. If it is pullinga padam, then it becomes ayam. And then if it is strilinga padam, it becomes iyam. The very famous line from Ramayana, iyam Sita mama putri. Avagatam vauma bagini. Same idam. Padma bagini. Idam ime imani. So ayam imau ime. Iyam ime imaha. Idam ime imani. Atra doshaha asti. Shamyata. It should be makarantaha. So I have given dakarantaha, which is wrong. This manual typing is sometimes so challenging. You want to type something and then something else comes there. Makarantaha. Makarantaha pullingaha. Napumsakalingaha idam shabdaha. You can see my screen now. Apumsakalingaha idam shabdaha. Dakarantaha tad athva etat shabdaha. Prashnaha asti va? We'll quickly run through the steps. I know it's already 12, but we'll run through the steps and then we'll go to the Sandhi part. Jayashri Bagni, Prashnaha asti va?
Yes, madam. Actually, atra paropakaraya gavaga duganti. Duganti means it's Srilingam only, gavaga. Though it is a go, its shabdam is bull also and denu also.
In that sense.
Duganti. In that sense, it is gavaga.
Strilinga padam.
Strilinga padam.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Thank you, madam.
Logic. Can somebody summarize the steps, what we have done? So what is the first sopanam, second step, third step? Bhanu Bhagini vadatu.
अन्वयरचना नवसोपानम् अस्ति
नवसोपानानि you can just say the names.
पदविभागः सन्धिः समानार्थं
सामान्यर्थं
वाक्यविश्लेषणं then अन्वयरचना then प्रतिपदार्थः अन्वयः तात्पर्यं व्याकरणांशम्
सम्यक् पदविभागः इत्युक्ते किं सन्ध्या भगिनी वदतु प्रथमसोपानं पदविभागः
प्रथमसोपानं पदविभागः each and every word of the poem we have to take out the words and split the words and write.
Splitting of the words is padavibhagah. Samyak. Sandhihi. Bhavani Bhagini vadatu.
Bhagini.
Sandhihi. Dvitiyam sopanam atra sandhihi. Atra vayam kim kurmah?
Padasya sandhi chedam krutva lekani.
Atra padasya nasti. Eka padasya nasti. Padayoho. If there are two words there, you look to see if there is sandhi that is happening there between the two words. Astu, samyak.
Padayoho. Dhanyawadalu.
Agre. Geeta Bhagini, tritiyam sopanam kim?
Samanyartha. There is always some simple meaning that appears while reading a padhyam or a gadyam or whatever, and there is something also in-depth meaning if we go through it.
Samanyartha ityukte kaha.
So the overall meaning in general as we read once appears is the samanya artham.
Astu, samyak. Agre, chaturtham sopanam.
Samanyata, general meaning, the words denote paropakaram if we say, and no, shariram asti, we say that it appears in general, but the in-depth meaning of it is
Chittamastu Bhagini, we are still in the third step, right? So, Padavibhagaha, Anantaram Sandhihi, Anantaram Samanyartha. Agre, Gomati Bhagini vadatu, Chaturtham Sopanam kim?
Vakya Vishleshanam.
Ityukte kim?
Padam, Kriyapadam va, Namapadam va iti Janimaha.
Namapadam va, Kriyapadam va. Is that all we need to write? Vakya Vishleshana Madhye?
Vakya Vishleshanam, simple. Padavibhagaha, I mean, the Anvaya Kramaha, we will write all grammatical part, no? Here we will
Bhagini, Vakya Vishleshanam vayam karishyamaha chet, atra Kriyapadam, Namapadam. Is that what we write or do we do something more? Atra Paropakaraya Phalanti Vrikshaha.
Kimartam Kidrisham.
No, that is not what we do in Vakya Vishleshanam. Vakya Vishleshanam, we write what are all the Kriya Padani there. We also write each Vibhaktihi. So we write which are the words which are in Prathama Vibhaktihi, Dvitiya Vibhaktihi.
Vibhaktihi also.
We write in the Vakya Vishleshanam. Astu.
Okay. Thank you.
Agre. Next step. Kaya vaktum shakyate. Agre vayam kim kurmah iti. Bhanu Bhagini vadati va. Uma Bhagini vadatu.
Anvaya Rachana and Pratipadartham. Here we discuss the questions, ask questions and discuss the answers.
Ekeka padasya atra prashnah kaha iti asmabhihi drashtavyah. Pratamah prashnah sarvada kim asti?
Kriyapadam asti Bhagini.
Kriyapadam kim iti drishtva agre pratama first karta. Who is the doer? Iti pratamah prashnah adhikadhika samayah tadeva bhavati. Who is the doer? Anantaram eva eka kriya asti chet, there has to be a doer there. So
Anantaram karma padam asti karma padam api vishleshanam kurmah Bhagini.
Astu. Then we do all the rest of the vibhakti there. Vibhakti is nothing but a relationship between the kriya and the nama padam, right? What is a vibhakti? It shows the relationship between the verb and the noun, kriya padam and nama padam. So the first question that we do typically is, who is the doer? We have identified an action, which is the kriya padam. Once that action is identified, the next step is always, who is doing that action? And then subsequently, what are the other things that are related to the kriya padam in the shloka or the subhashitam, in the content that is given. Samyak Bhagini.
Bhagini, Anvaya Rachana and Anvaya are two different things.
Anvaya Rachana is basically the formation of the questions. Anvaya is after you form the questions, you are converting something in a poetic form to a prose form.
And Tatparyam Bhagini?
That is the explanation of the shloka.
Idam Anvaya you have not done, Bhagini.
I have, no? So in I thought I did Anvaya there. So in the original text of the Subhashitam, how was it? It was Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha, Paropakaraya vahanti nadyah. That is how it was, right? Now you are changing that into a prose form. When you change into a prose form, typically you start with the doer and then end with the kriya. So vrikshaha, and then all the words in between, depending on where it fits and how it fits, right? Like if it is a visheshana padam, if it is something which is give a karma padam, if it is a dana kriya and who is the receiver. So everything else is subsequent. So vrikshaha paropakaraya phalanti. In the poetic form, how is it? Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha. After anvayaha, we know now vrikshaha is the karta, kartrupadam there. So vrikshaha paropakaraya phalanti. So that is the anvayaha.
Dhanyavada Bhagini.
Astu. Astu. Agre. Uma vadatu. Uma Bhagini vadatu.
अन्वयं समाप्नोति, अन्वयः समाप्नोति, तात्पर्यं तात्पर्यं श्लोकस्य अर्थः कः इति वयं लिखितवन्तः।
Pratipadartham prayujya lekitum shakyate. So that is why the pratipadartham, when we do in the Anvaya Rachana, it makes it easy. As we ask the questions, if we write a very simple corresponding word for the words which are there, Shlokeshu vidyamanani padani, right? So all the words which are there in the shloka, if we know a simple similar word, we can write it in the pratipadartha in that step. Now using those words, you can write the tatparyam.
Pratipadartham, we'll write it along with the Anvaya Rachana.
So I usually, these two come together. You can also do it as a separate step. It doesn't matter. But because, see, when you do the questions here, right? Like you're writing Vahanti. Now, right next to that, you can just write for vahanti, the corresponding artha is pravahanti. Or if you look at the previous one, you have phalanti, phalani yachanti. Ke phalanti vrikshaha. Vrikshaha iti patasya samana padam kim? Taruhu api vrikshaha, vrikshaha eva. So taravaha. Kimartam phalanti? Paropakaraartam, paropakaraye, anyesham sahayartam, anyesham upakarartam. So if you write that, when you write the tatparyam, you can frame with all the pratipadartha shabdaha. With all that together, you can write the tatparyam. And then, of course, if you for every subhashitam, there is a message that is being sent, right? So if you understand the message, you can add the message also in the tatparyam part. Now, when it comes to Bhagavad Gita, in the tatparyam part, you can also add previously couple of lines what happened. Now, say you're doing the Bhagavad Gita Anvaya Rachana for the 20th shloka, right? If you remember what happened in the sequence, Purvam Kim Abhavat iti vayam janimah chet etatapi likhitva atra. If you understand atra Bhagavad Gitayam atra mood kim asti Arjunah manasi klesham anubhavati. If that shloka, that is what it conveys. Or Arjunasya sharanagatihi atra bhavati. So where Arjuna says, from now on you are my guru and I am your Shishya. So he basically surrenders to Krishna. So if you understand what is being conveyed in the shloka, tadapi lekitum shakyate. You can also write that. We did this. 5th, 6th is done. 7th is Anvayaha. Agre. After Anvayaha is Tatparyam. Anantaram Vyakaranamshaha. Astu. Sandhi Vishayam Pashyamaha. I know we are a little short of time. I want to finish the Sandhi part so that when we do the Subhashitam and Anvaya Rachana from next week, it will be clearer. I don't want to. I hope people are okay staying maybe like 5-10 minutes additional. If you have questions in Anvaya Rachana, I will take it at the end of the class after we finish Sandhi. Astuhu. We did Visarga Sandhihi, Prathamam, Pratamaha, Dvitiyaha, Tritiyaha Bedaha, Vayam Drishtavandaha, Trayaha Bedaha. Adya Vayam Chaturtaha Bedaha, Bedaha Kaha, iti Pashyamaha. What is the 4th type? Iti. Let me just go directly to that. That's like Kaya Vaktum Shakyate, Pratamaha, Dvitiyaha, Tritiyaha. Bedaha ke iti. Jai Shri Bhagini Vadati va? You don't have to give the rules, just state what they are.
First one is Visarga Sandhihi Uttvam. Second one is Lopaha. Visarga Sandhi, there are 3 conditions there also. 3 conditions and it goes Lopaha. And can I explain, madam? The third one is Repam. Repaha.
Repaha. Pratamaha Ukaraha, Lopaha, Repaha.
Repaha.
Treen Vayam Drishtavantaha. Treen Bedan Vayam Drishtavantaha. Dhanyavadaha Bhagini. Agre Vayam Adya Visargasya Sakaraha Kada Bhavati. Atra pashyitu Purvapadasya Antima Aksharam Visargaha Asti. Anantaram Etani Aksharani Cha, Cha, Ta, Tha, Ta, Tha, Atava Sha, Sha, Sa. Bhavanti Chet Visargasya Sakaraha Bhavati. Visargastane Sakaraha Bhavati. Ramaha plus Chalati asti chet Ramas Chalati. Atra anantaramapi ekah sandhihi bhavati eva. That is why in Sakarah typically you have two sandhis that is happening, except if it is sa that follows. Agre pashyamah, we will see examples. Purva padasya antima aksharam visargah asti. So the word is basically ending with a visarga. Parapadasya adi aksharam cha cha ta tha ta tha sha sha sa bhavati chet sakarah bhavati. Udaharana. Atra sa ta tha bhavanti chet. Kutra parapadasya adi aksharam sa ta tha bhavanti chet visargastane sakarah eva bhavati. Anantaram kimapi sandhihi na bhavati. So if there is there are these three letters which are there, alphabets which are there, then anantaram it only is replaced with a sakara. So sishyaha adikam te becomes sishyaste. Kimartham purva padasya antima aksharam visargah asti yah. Parapadasya adi aksharam takarah ta bhavati. Visargastane sakarah bhavati. Shishyaste. Dvitiyam udaharanam. Parapadasya adi aksharam cha cha sha atra bhavati chet visargastane shakarah bhavati. Sakarah bhavati anantaram shakarah bhavati. Kimartam anantaram shutva sandhihi bhavati. Atra pashyatu shubhrah adikam chandrah. Chandra iti dattam, it should be chandrah. Shubhrah adikam chandrah. What happens there? Shubhras chandrah. Now purva padasya antima aksharam sakarah asti, parapadasya adi aksharam chakarah bhavati chet sakarastane shakarah bhavati. Sandhihi kaha? Shutva sandhihi. Shubhrash chandrah. Chandrah. Atra tritiyah niyamah atra kaha? Purvapadasya antima aksharam visargah asti, parapadasya adi aksharam ta tha sha bhavati chet atra pratamam sakarah bhavati anantaram shakarah bhavati. Kimartam pratamam visarga sandhihi bhavati anantaram shakarah bhavati kalu tadartam shtutva sandhihi atra bhavati. So there are three types: sakarah, shakarah, shakarah. Yadi vayam eshah etam sandhim karishyamah chet prathamam visarga sakarah iti asmabhihi lekitavyah. So first we should write it is visarga sandhihi. What type is it? It is the fourth type, which is sakarah. Anantaram, if it is, if either a shutva sandhihi or shtutva sandhihi can take place there, you then write the name of the second sandhihi. So it is visarga sakarah, anantaram, kama, shubhras chandrah, anantaram, shubhrash chandrah. Visarga sakarah, kama, shutva sandhihi. Athava visarga sakarah, athava shtutva sandhihi. Anantaram shtutva sandhihi bhavati iti. Agre niyamah avagatam va? Have you understood the rule? So the purva padasya antima aksharam is visargah, parapadasya adi aksharam is one of these: cha cha ta tha 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 sha sha sa. Anantaram kim bhavati? Visargastane sakarah bhavati. Atra trayah bedaha, like individual sub classification is there. What is the sub classification? Sakarah, takarah, takarah asti chet sakarah remains as such. Anya kopi sandhihi atra na bhavati. There is no other sandhi that can happen there. So shishyaha plus te will only be shishyaste. Anantaram. If it is cha cha sha, there is a second sandhi which can happen there. What is that? Shubhrah adikam chandrah, shubras chandrah, shubras chandrah, shutva sandhi bhavati, tadartam shubhrash chandrah. Samanam Shivah adikam shanmukham, Shivas shanmukham, anantaram Shivash shanmukham. Avagatam va? Sarve pustake niyaman nischayena likeyuhu abhyasam api kuryuhu. But Prichatu Anusha Bhagini?
Basically, we mean to say that when the Parapadasya Adi Aksharam is Chacha, that letters comes, then the Sakaraha eva bhavati kalu, then we are doing the next Sandhi. Is it right?
That's correct. So,
because I got little confused here. This Shakara, I thought that Shakara is the
no.
thing.
No. Which is why I've given that in bold there. So, if any of these letters come, it is first Sakaraha. If it is Satata, Sakaraha remains Sakaraha. So, it is retained as Shishyaste. If it is Cha, then Sakaraha changes to Shakaraha because there is a Shutvam that is happening there. If it is Sha, it again changes to Shakaraha because there is a Shtutvam which is happening there.
But this Sandhi doesn't overlap with the previous things. Is it like that is my another doubt? It doesn't overlap.
You tell me.
Like because here we are saying it is only Visargaha, so anything can come, right?
Correct.
It's not Akaraha, Akaraha or any. So in that case, Akaraha, like Shishyaha, here it is Akaraha, right?
Astu.
In that way. But the other condition is these letters should be there only then.
Which that's what. So your question is, you were asking whether the other
previous sandhis of Visarga.
So you have to tell me whether the previous sandhi will come. What are the rules there?
Yeah, first rule is Akaraha, then this Parapadasya Adi Aksharam is Akaraha or Mrityu Vyanjanam. So that is not filled there. And second rule is Akaraha. And Parapadasya first letter will be Parapadasya first letter will be Akaraha Vihaya Swaraha. That is the for Lopaha. And then the second one will be Akaraha and Akaraha is not here. Okay.
No, it doesn't matter, but you have to see what the following condition is, right?
Akaraha, then that will be Swaraha Atava Mridu Vyanjanam.
In most of the cases there, what is the rule? Parapadam mostly starts with
Swaraha.
No, most of the time if it is a Vyanjana Aksharam, it is
Parapadam. Mridu Vyanjanam.
On the other hand, what are these?
These are Karkasha Vyanjanam. Okay. But what about the third one we had there? It is Saha Aryashaha. There only we use any Vyanjanam. There it is Saha Aryashaha eva. Akaraha Vihaya. So that will not come here. Okay, Idanim avatat. Dhanyavada.
I think many have said I have to change Shanmukam also. 1 second, let me do that right now. I think it's Shuddham now, I think. Astu. Purvapadasya antima aksharam visargah asti, parapadasya adi aksharam cha cha ta tha 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 sha sha sa. Etani, what are they? They are the karkasha vyanjanam. Of course, you don't have the pa and pa. Those will be, and of course ka and ka, those will be the visarga remains as is, but the type is not given there. So whenever you have that is why the visarga pronunciation fa comes, because the visarga remains there. They have not taught that in it is understood that the visarga just remains there. So sa ta tha asti chet atra sakarah eva bhavati. Cha cha sha bhavati chet shakarah prathamam sakarah bhavati anantaram shutva sandhihi bhavati. Tadartham shakarah. Samanam ta tha sha bhavati chet prathamam sakarah bhavati anantaram shakarah. Kimartham shtutva sandhihi bhavati. Astu. Udaharanam pashyamah. Kaya patitum vaktum shakyate. Hema Bhagini patatu.
I had a doubt there, madam. About Hindi. Saha Esha, in that Saha Ishtavan, Sa Ishtavan it comes. And after that, do we have a possibility to make a Gunasandhi over there? Are we supposed to do? Or Yeshaha Uttamaha was a Udharaharanam. Saha Ishtavan also a Udhaharanam. And after the Lopa of Visarga, it becomes Sa Ishtavan and Esha Uttamaha. So there we can make a Gunasandhi, no? Are we supposed to do or not do that?
No. That happens only when there is a samasa that happens there. You are writing sa saha and yeshaha and then the lopaha there, right?
Then it becomes sa ishtavan.
Sa ishtavan will remain sa ishtavan only.
So is there any rule that where we have to make a second sandhi and where we should not?
That is only when you do a samasaha.
Okay.
So if there is if sa is there and ishtavan is there, there is a samasa rule. If you want to join and write these, you take the pratipatikam, and then from the pratipatikam you write the pratipatikam of the two. You see which type of samasa is that, and then form the compound word. When the compound word is formed, if there is a sandhi that can happen there, then you write the sandhi.
Oh, so here
you can't write, no, you can't write sa and ishtavan. Then you can join every word, no? Like for example, grihitva agataha, there is an example there, no? Then you can just say grihitva agataha is grihitva agataha. Then pretty much every word in a sentence, some form of sandhi can happen there, because it is either a visargam or it is a vyanjanam or it is a swara aksharam.
In these cases we are doing, no? For example, some stritva sandhi we are doing and all that, no? That is why I got it out, whether here also there is a possibility for us to do another sandhi.
No, because there it is still a separate word. Now Ramas plus, because that sakaraha is there, you can join together and write as shutva sandhi.
Because Ramaha, there we are using that purva.
There is a pratipadikam rule there for that Ramas, how it actually changes. So using that rule, that Ramaha and Chandraha asti chet, Ramas Chandraha, you can actually write it that way. Again, Rama Chandraha, Chandraha iva. That is also a samasa that it can happen. So I don't want to confuse others, but
even I am at a very basic lowest stage, so I don't want to.
So it is not like every word that is there in a sentence you can take and form a sandhi there. It doesn't work that way.
Okay. Thank you. Dhanyawada. Should I read this?
Patatu Bhagini.
Shubhras Chandraha. Shubhraha plus Chandraha. Shubhra visarga asti, purva padante visarga asti, and parapadadyo chakara asti. Atah chakarasta sakarah madhe bhavati. Atah Shubhras Chandraha.
Shubhras Chandraha. Agre patatu.
Shishyaste ham. Shishya aste aham. शिष्य परन्तु तत् शिष्य अस्ति अहं शिष्यस्ते अहम् ओन्ली शिष्य तत्र शिष्यतः अहं उकार no it's not उकार शिष्य अस्ति अहं
अत्र शिष्यस्ते तदेव सन्धि विच्छेदनं करोतु
शिष्यस्तेः प्लस अहं
शिष्यस्ते इति पदम् अस्ति भगिनि हाउ डू यू स्प्लिट शिष्यस्ते
शिष्यः प्लस ते शिष्यस्ते
शिष्यः अधिकं ते
शिष्यस्ते
विसर्ग सकारः
कृष्णश्च
अन्य कोऽपि पठतु धन्यवादः संध्या भगिनी पठति वा
रामः कृष्णश्च गृहं गतवन्तौ कृष्णः अधिकं च
सम्यक्
श्रुत्वसन्धि
प्रथमः
विसर्गसन्धि तदनन्तरं श्रुत्वसन्धि
विसर्गसन्धिः सन्धेः भेदः कः व्हाट टाइप
विसर्गसन्धेः
सकारः कृष्णः अधिकं च कृष्णश्च अनन्तरं
श्रुत्वसन्धि सन्धिः भवति कृष्णश्च
सम्यक् अग्रे
ततः सर्वे कार्यम् आरब्धवन्तः ततः अधिकं सर्वे ततः सर्वे सकारः भवति विसर्ग
सकारः विसर्गसन्धेः सकारः भेदः अस्तु सम्यक् इन्दु भगिनी पठतु
अहं मातुश्चरणौ प्रणमामि मातुः चरणौ तत्र मातुश्चरणौ इति प्रथमं विकारस्य विसर्गस्य सकारादेशः भवति तदनन्तरं श्चुत्वसन्धेः नियमः मातुश्चरणौ इति शकारः आगच्छति
सम्यक्
भगिनि
अग्रे वदतु
सेवकश्छत्रं गृहीत्वा आगतः तत्रापि सेवकः छत्रं विसर्गस्य सकारादेशः भवति प्रथमं तदनन्तरं श्चुत्वसन्धेः कार्यं भवति शकारः भवति सेवकश्छत्रम् इति सन्धिद्वयं भवति धन्यवादः
सम्यक् पार्वती भगिनी पठतु
शिवः षण्मुखम् अवदत् शिवः अधिकं षण्मुखं प्रथमं विसर्गसन्धिः भवति शिवः षण्मुखं सकारः भवति अनन्तरं ष्टुत्वसन्धि शिवः षण्मुखम् इति भवति
सम्यक् अग्रे
यश् टीकते सः टीकाकारः इति उच्यते यः टीकते विसर्गस्थाने सकारः यस् टीकते भवति अनन्तरं ष्टुत्वसन्धि भवति यश् टीकते
अग्रे पठतु भगिनि भवती एव पठतु
भगिन्यास् स्यूततः धनं पतितं भगिन्याः स्यूततः भगिन्याः अधिकं स्यूततः इति भवति भगिन्याः स्यूततः सकारः भवति ते उच्चैश्चाम् अकुर्वन् उच्चैश्चार् अकुर्वन् उच्चैः चर्चां sorry उच्चैश्चर्चाम् अकुर्वन् ते उच्चैः अधिकं चर्चां विसर्गस्थाने सकारः भवति अनन्तरं श्रुत्वसन्धि भवति उच्चैश्चर्चाम् अकुर्वन्
सम्यक्
धन्यवादः भगिनी।
धन्यवादः। अग्रे विजयलक्ष्मी भगिनी करोतु।
यस्
करोतु भगिनी। यः अधिकं टीकते।
यः प्लस टीकते यत् टीकते। यश
यश टीकते। प्रथमं कः सन्धिः?
विसर्गस्थाने सः will come.
सकारः
सकारः will come. After that श्रुत्व सन्धि, so यश टीकते।
ष्टुत्व सन्धिः यश टीकते। सम्यक्। अग्रे करोतु।
तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञः। तुष्टः प्लस स्थितः, दिस इज विसर्ग पूर्वपदस्य अन्तिम अक्षरं विसर्गं। सो दुष्टस् स्थितप्रज्ञः ईश्वर
सकारः भवति। तुष्टस्थितप्रज्ञः। सम्यक्। धन्यवादः। लक्ष्मी भगिनी।
आं भगिनि।
भवती पठति वा?
कः प्लस् चित् कश्चित्। प्रथमं सकारः अनन्तरं चुत् सन्ति। सकारः
कश्चित्। सम्यक्। अग्रे
सन्तुष्टः प्लस् सत्य। सत्य सकारः।
पुनः वदतु।
सन्तुष्ट सत्य।
अत्र
सत्य सन्तुष्ट सत्य सकारः आगच्छति।
सकारः आगच्छति। अस्तु
धन्यवादः।
अस्तु। अग्रे हेमवल्ली भगिनी।
नमस्ते अध्यापिके। शृणोति वा? श्रेष्ठः अधिकं टीकाकारः। श्रेष्ठ अधिकं टीकाकारः भवति। श्रेष्ठस् टीकाकारः। अनन्तरं ष्टुत्वसन्धि आगच्छति। श्रेष्ठस् टीकाकारः।
सम्यक्। अग्रे करोतु।
बालः अधिकं षण्मुखः शः भवति। बालस् षण्मुखः आगच्छति। अनन्तरं ष्टुत्वसन्धि बालश् षण्मुखः।
सम्यक्। बालश् षण्मुखः। सम्यक्। जयश्री भगिनी।
यस् मैडम। चतुरः छात्रः। फर्स्ट विसर्गं चतुरस् छात्रः। देन सकारः इष् षकारः भवति। चतुरश् छात्रः।
चतुरश् छात्रः।
गुरोः वचनं। गुरोः वचनं वा इस् अगेन मृदुवञ्जनं। सो मृदुवञ्जनं ओः। So this is गुरोर्वचनं। गुरोर्वचनं रेफः।
सम्यक्। गुरोर्वचनं
रेफः। गुरोर्वचनं।
सम्यक्। उमा भगिनी।
धर्मः उक्तः धर्मोक्तः रेपः भगिनि। उत्वं धर्मोक्तः धर्मो उक्तः भगिनि।
विसर्गस्य भेदः कः?
ह्रस्वाकारः followed by
what type? Tell me the type.
भगिनि,
what is the type? There are 4 types, no? Ukarah, lopah, repah, sakarah. What is the type?
लोपः भगिनि। धर्मो उक्तः।
Dharmo uktah cannot be lopah, no?
धर्म उक्तः।
Dharma उक्तः किमर्थम् अकारः अनन्तरम् अन्य स्वर अक्षरम् अस्ति चेत् धर्म उक्तः अग्रे
तरुणः अधिकम् अपि तरुणो अपि तरुणोपि
तरुणोपि
उत्वं भगिनि उकारः
प्रथमम् उकारः भवति अनन्तरं
गुणसन्धि
गुणसन्धि
अस्ति अनन्तरं पूर्वरूपसन्धि
अस्तु तरुणोपि सम्यक् अस्तु I think I also have an exercise in Vyanjana Sandhihi. We will try that. कया प्रयत्नं कर्तुं शक्यते कया न कृतं who has not tried today अहम् अधिकं प्रातः लक्ष्मी भगिनी भवती वदतु you need to unmute भगिनी what about others
अहम् अधिकं प्रातः अहम् अनुस्वारम् and अनुस्वारस्य स्थाने इं भवति अहम्
अनुस्वारस्थाने इं भवति what sandhi is this
स्थाने अनुस्वारं भवति
अहं प्रातः अनुस्वारः अग्रे
इं स्थाने अनुस्वारं भवति आसन् आसनानि प्रथम स्थाने आसन् अनुनासिका आसनानि स्वरः तो आसन् स्वरः भवति चेत् I can't say asan. Asanasanani.
Asanasanani. Sandhihi kaha? How did you arrive at asanasanani?
In plus na.
Then it will be asanasanani, right? But it is asanasanani. Why? There is a ngamudagama sandhihi.
Oh.
That happens there.
Ngamudagama sandhi.
If it is nakaraha, nga or nakaraha. Atra bhavati chet anantaram swara aksharam. Nakarasya purvam, it should be a hrasva swaraha. Samyak bhagini. Agre. Snehal bhagini.
पतद अधिकम परिणाम पतद परिणाम चर्त्वं संधि चर्त्वं संधि द स्थाने प्रथम वर्ण आगच्छति
सम्यक् अग्रे
जगद्हिताय पूर्व सवर्ण संधि ह स्थाने चतुर्थ वर्ण आगच्छति जगद्धिताय
सम्यक् जगद्धिताय सम्यक् भवानी भगिनी
आं भगिनी
करोतु
बृहत् अधिकं टङ्कशाला बृहत् टङ्कशाला
सन्धिः कः
अहं तद् न जानामि एकनिमिषं वर्गीयव्यञ्जनं पूर्वपदस्य अन्तिमाक्षरं परपदस्य अपि कर्कशव्यञ्जनं
that is not the niyamah पूर्वपदस्य अन्तिम अक्षरं त वर्गः परपदस्य आदि अक्षरं ट वर्गः अस्ति चेत्
ष्टुत्वसन्धि
ष्टुत्वसन्धिः भवति अत्र
धन्यवादः क्षम्यतां
चिन्ता मास्तु का करोति अनुषा भगिनी करोति वा
अभवत् प्लस शिवम अभवत् अभवत् शिवम
अभवत्
शिवम चत्वसन्धिः चत्वसन्धिः
पुनः वदतु भगिनी प्रथमं
प्रथमं चुत्वसन्धि क्षम्यतां प्रथमं चुत्वसन्धिः अभवत् प्लस शिवम अभवत् शिवम अनन्तरं अभवत् शिवम इस् चुत्वसन्धिः अनन्तरं अभवत् प्लस शिवम अभवत् शिवम that is चत्वसन्धिः
चत्वसन्धिः सम्यक् धन्यवादः अस्तु the sandhi vedah that we saw today visarga sandehe sakarah katham bhavati visarga sandehe purva padasya antima aksharam visargah asti parapadasya adi aksharam cha cha ta tha ta tha sha sha sa bhavati chet visargasthane sakarah bhavati pratamam sakarah bhavati anantaram sa ta tha atra भवति चेत् सकारः सकारव एव तिष्ठति च च श भवति चेत् सकारः शकारः परिवर्तनं भवति किमर्थम् अत्र शुत्वसन्धिः भवति अन्तिमभेदः नियमः ट ठ श भवति चेत् शकारः सकारस्थाने शकारः भवति किमर्थं ष्टुत्वसन्धिः भवति सन्धिः समाप्तम् अस्ति I wanted to do sandhi so that when we do the subhashitanam padavibhagah and sandayah, it will be easier. And kathayam api adhika sandehe prayogah bhavati. So when you read the katha also in every lesson, see if you can just understand what the sandhi is which is given there. Pustake api dattam asti, they have also given at the end what the sandhi that is happening. But if you just read the katha and then if you try doing the sandhi vichedanam, all the sandhis sort of will get into your system. So, which is why I wanted to finish sandhi first before moving on to the individual lessons. Samayah atitah shamyatam, wanted to cover Anvaya Rachana in detail. Agami Guruvasare Vargaha na bhavati Nutana Varshayaha Subhashitani Sarvebhyaha. We will meet next Tuesday. Agami Saptahe Mangalavasare Vayam Milamaha Prathama Patasya Arambam Karishyamaha. We will do from Suktihi, Kavya Katha, Nyayaha, Anekani Vishayani, Aneke Vishayaha Santi. We will try to do as much as possible in the class. Prashnah asti va? Aham vargam samapayami, tadanantaram prashnah asti chet prachehu. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्